All right. What's up, boys? How you guys doing? Yeah, we have some we got some good information today. We have some good stuff to talk about. Sorry, I had to close my door real quick, but yeah, we got a bunch of good stuff to talk about. We have some information about EG, TSM Johnson specifically is going to be involved in this double lift. Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff. I'm not sure if we should say everything right now. I mean, I guess what we could do is we could look at the stuff that people have seen today, so the announcements today, and then in like 10 minutes we'll just get into things so that people have, you know, a little bit of time to get to the stream. So yeah, PoE officially joined TSM, and I guess the first thing we can talk about before we get into the leaks is just the information that Jacob Wolf shared. So if you look at Jacob Wolf, right, him specifically, he released the original statement that TSM had verbally committed, lost to EG, and Huni was verbally committed to TSM, and that the trade broke down. So essentially, I'm going to be providing context as to why. I'm just going to find his tweet here first. First things first, let's look at this. So this is what Jacob Wolf tweeted out recently. So he said, sources, 2 separate deals between at TSM and at Evil Geniuses. One that would send Lost ADC to Evil Geniuses, and another for Huni to join TSM. Both agreed to verbally Monday night, may be in jeopardy as TSM's roster is uncertain, particularly around Double's future. Hopefully I'm able to provide some context here with what we say. So that leaves both teams in an awkward spot. Evil Geniuses still have Huni plus a verbal agreement with Impact, but no AD carry and limited North American and Oceanic options. Meanwhile, TSM may not have a top laner, no support, and may have to use Lost as their starting AD carry. Chance that both deals go ahead as originally agreed to shortly after the open of the League of Legends free agency window on November 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, but that's really unclear right now as multiple pieces are up in the air. Okay, so we know where some of these pieces are landing right now. Dom loved the C9 Perks video. Yeah, we saw the C9 Perks video. So today, Power of Evil officially joined TSM. But I mean, we can watch this first, and then right after we watch a Power of Evil clip, I'll start giving some they're not really Dom bombs. They're more like just Dom like little droplets. So yeah, this is like 5-minute video.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about replacements because you're going to be transitioning to head coach.
Yeah, of course. I actually had a few ideas, but did you have anyone in mind?
What do you think about PoE?
He's got fucking PTSD.
Oh man, I'll say after Power People kills Bjergsen again. Yeah.
This open, these misfits push themselves straight into the quarterfinals.
My teammates remind me that I'm the kryptonite of TSM.
Kryptonite. The finishing touches on this season.
All right, Bjerg.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Power People is unbelievably powerful in this
Dumb
point.
parts, yeah.
A
couple dumb parts.
Over the wall, looks to stick him, but doesn't find him. But Wiggly getting thrown down. He's dead. That's an easy double. It's Pomelta trying to get him in there. It could be the penta. There's the double, the triple. There's the quadra, and that's getting in.
While Turtle claims the objective, Ignar cannot find the assassination, but Gordon is 5 health, and double kill comes in.
Power of Evil is still alive, going to be for Nord as Power of Evil against.
I feel he had a good season for sure.
But he still had the ultimate. This guy is the whole team. They're running away from just the Syndra.
Hey guys, my name is Tristan, Power of Evil Schrager, and I'm here to announce that I'm going to be joining TSM as their new mid laner. When TSM/Bjergsen reached out to me that they would be interested and that Bjergsen would be the head coach, this definitely caught my interest since, to be honest, this came as a surprise to me as he's still very young and had a good year with TSM. There would be so many benefits. Obviously, TSM is a great organization, but as well having
I actually like
Bjergsen
what
as a
Bjergsen
head
says
coach
here, by
has
the
a
way.
lot of benefits for me as a mid laner. I personally had the luck to play and learn from many legends in esports, including like mid lane legends like Alex Ich, X-Packer, and now Bjergsen. So I'm really looking forward to learn from him, see where his head is at. Hopefully we can exchange a lot of information. We can go really into specific details about mid lane, exchange our communication in game, out of game. get their leadership rolling. So I feel like it's gonna be really beneficial for both of us. Well, so yeah, I got to play against Bjergsen and TSM at IM Sun USA 2014, where I managed to beat him out and knock him out of semifinals. And then the next year, when I joined Origin, I met him again at IM Sun USA, winning out on him again in semifinals with Origin.
He's just gonna talk about how
So
he
I
shut
feel
out
like
Bjergsen
this
the whole time.
meme just kept staying alive and kept being relived. Obviously in 2017, winning that tiebreaker match against TSM and him, knocking them out of Worlds and securing us the quarterfinals spot. Yeah, it just kept being, I guess, renewed and kept alive by that, which is pretty funny. I'm very excited to meet everyone and start practicing again. The new patch is crazy and wild, and with all the new items, it's gonna be a lot of fun to try all of that stuff out in team practice, and not only solo queue, but talk about it with your teammates, pick their heads, and yeah, just like talk about League, practice League, and meet everyone, see how their personalities are shaping up and how we fit as a team, how the team synergy is. I think it's gonna be great. For me as a player, I'm very eager to finally win a finals match. I managed to go to finals in 5 times in 4 different teams, and I never actually managed to get the trophy. I lost a lot of times 2-3, so I'm really looking forward to getting that trophy home, hopefully with TSM. And my second goal is to show everyone that NA is capable of getting out of groups. To all my fans, thanks for your ongoing support. I hope that you guys are as excited as I am to join TSM. And to all the TSM fans, I'm happy to be part of you guys' team, and I'm very eager to win yet another trophy for you guys and hopefully show everyone that NA can get out of groups.
All right, so let's start talking a little bit about the trades and just how things are happening right now. When you look at roster building, essentially the way that it works is the teams approach like the key parts of their future roster first and try to lock those down and then build around the key pieces with like role players or just like players that they think will complement the strengths of their team, which is what TSM was attempting to do this season. They locked down PoE, which was announced today. They perceived that Spica was locked down and Doublelift was locked down, which is why they originally wanted to, or they verbally agreed to trade Lost to EG from their academy team. And the whole reason for this, and the whole reason why they decided to bench Broken Blade, is because PoE is still an import, which means they only have 1 import slot left. And what they wanted to do was get a high-profile import support with Doublelift on the team. So they kick Broken Blade so they can get PoE, who's an import, and they want support import. So originally they were looking at top tier supports, right? So I know people mentioned effort. I have no idea if that was actually a thing. Carrier was somebody who I think they briefly looked at. Carrier ended up going with T1, and Sword Art was the mainstay. So Sword Art was supposed to be the person that they were really committing to. And that deal, unfortunately, did end up falling through. From at least the sources I have, they've told me, and I think that somebody else released it, either Jacob Wolf or maybe Travis. Somebody else, I think, talked about how the Sword Art deal ended up falling through. And that ended up affecting Doublelift, because Doublelift only wanted to play with a high-quality support, a high-quality proven import support, like a top-tier worldwide support, that he feels like they can win a championship and get to Worlds with. When that fell through, Doublelift no longer wanted to be a part of TSM. So right now, the way it looks is either Doublelift is going to sit out the split, or he's going to full-on retire. Those are the two things that I think are going to happen with Doublelift. The reason why TSM ended up canceling the trade of Lost to EG, like this is going to be, I'm just going to try to explain this in story form, right? So I'll be dropping like the information that I have, but then I'll also be explaining why this information happened, or like how these situations came to be, so that it makes sense, because this is how it was explained to me, and also I have multiple people telling me the same thing, so I feel like it's reliable enough to at least put it out there to the community. Okay, so without a top tier support for Doublelift no longer wants to play, so Lost is going to be the starting AD carry for TSM. meaning that obviously EG, who was banking on Lost, is not able to play with Lost. So EG actually gets fucked here by this pretty hard, right? And I think honestly it's understandable for Doublelift to have that mentality. Like if you look at the lineup of like Huni, let's say Huni did come, right? Like this deal probably fell apart, but if he decided to stay, this deal would have went through. If the lineup was like Huni, Spica, Power of Evil, Doublelift, Pallet. If that's the lineup, and Pallet he was the second best support in VCS next to Slay. Slay was considered the best support in VCS. At least that's what people tell me. I didn't watch VCS, but this is just the overall consensus. That team does not look better than TL's roster of Alfari, Santorin, Jensen, Tactical, Core JJ, or C9's roster of Fudge, Blabber, Perks, Sven, and Vulcan, obviously. So, Duff is like, I'm late in my career. I don't want to just play another season to get like third place and then get shit on at Worlds again. So he doesn't want to play with this roster, which is why Lost is probably going to remain on TSM. Now you got to look at it from EG's perspective. I feel really bad for EG with how everything worked out because they got fucked like in multiple different directions. I think that EG actually wanted to spend money. They were one of the teams that were like the spenders because you have the top tier of the league, which is like TL, TSM, C9, 100 Thieves, and then EG was the other team that was willing to spend money. And then you have like the other five. So that's the top five, and then the bottom fives are the people that are budgeting. Golden Guardians budgeting. CLG is like half budgeting. I mean, they're not like spending a fuck ton, but they're also not like spending nothing either. Dignitas, pretty budget lineup. FlyQuest, Immortals, also like budgeting, but like at least trying to put something together. Okay, so EG was trying to spend money. The first person that EG locked down was Ignar, right? So EG just got Ignar. With Ignar, they're trying to find an AD carry to complement that. So they had two choices, and this is where Johnson comes into play. So EG was originally rumored to have Johnson or Lost, right? Like they had both of the options. Now there was some issues with Johnson. Johnson had situations with his contract where he was not able to necessarily get out of his contract immediately. It was unsure if he was going to be let go on time. But eventually he ended up freeing up, and EG had the option of getting Lost or Johnson. The way they perceived this was that with a support like Ignar, who's very roam happy, like likes to play the map, you need a certain type of AD carry to match with that. They perceive Johnson as more of like a playthrough lane AD carry, and Lost is more like kind of just, malleable. So they said, all right, like, we don't want Johnson, we want Lost. Lost verbally committed. They said they weren't interested in Johnson, and Johnson's like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna join EG. Like, that's the team that he wanted to be on, but, they told him no. They told him that they would want to have Lost. Obviously, Johnson doesn't want to play Academy, so he joins FlyQuest. Then this situation happens. Now, EG has no AD carry because Lost stays with TSM, Johnson goes to FlyQuest, and now they just have a spot for AD carry. So they're struggling in terms of like trying to find an AD carry right now. They don't know who the AD carry is going to be. As of now, there's no rumor as to who the AD carry for EG is going to be. So that's the first way they get fucked. Now they got fucked a second way, right? And this is the second. Well, it's actually like three ways, but one of them is not like the worst situation in the world. So I guess we'll talk about the one that's like not that bad. So the second way they got fucked is they verbally committed to Impact. So they decided, hey, we're going to verbally commit to Impact. We're going to be sending Huni to TSM. We verbally committed to Impact, right? Now with the TSM deal falling through, and by the way, they most likely are not going to be able, well, actually, I can tell you right now. So there's a couple different things we could say. Okay, let me just finish the point on top lane. So they kind of got screwed because they verbally committed to Impact. They wanted Impact on the team, but now they have Huni too. So like those are two people with big contracts. They would prefer playing with Impact over Huni, both are residents. But maybe now, because of like the fact that they want to save money and they don't have anyone to sell Huni to necessarily, they might have to end up staying with Huni and then maybe like not commit to Impact and try to reallocate their assets other places. Okay, let's talk about mid lane, right? Because Ignar is an import, right? So they're trying to lock down imports. Sven Skaren, not an import. Their top laner, Huni or Impact, not an import, technically. I'm just going for Riot rules, right? Support, import, Ignar. They originally wanted to get Niski, who was an import. They were 100% down with Niski. Niski was supposed to go to EG. Fnatic actually apparently offered Niski a very favorable contract. So because Fnatic offered Niski so much, Niski ended up joining Fnatic, and now they pretty much have to go with plan B, which is Jizuke. So they're actually going to keep Jizuke, most likely. So essentially their roster is going to be like Impact or Huni. Who knows about AD carry? They're going to have to go with an AD carry that they don't necessarily want. Ignar, Jizuke, and Svenskeren. That's what their lineup looks like. Essentially, EG as a whole gets screwed on so many different fronts because their whole roster that came together, like their original roster on paper sounded great. Like if you think about what their roster and what they tried to do with their roster, what the projection was, it would have been really good. Or it would have been at least like top 4, top 5. You look at their roster of Impact, Svenskeren, Niski, Lost, Ignar. Like that's a good fucking roster. And instead, they're left with, like, potentially Huni, Svenskeren, and Jizuke, so they didn't get, like, any change or, like, get any real upgrade there. Unknown AD carry and Ignar. So they got pretty fucked over in terms of, like, how everything ended up going here. So that's, like, most of everything. So we can just, like, discuss it a little bit now. I think I laid out everything that I know, so I think, so the things that I laid out, I mean, if we can just go through them again. EG, no AD carry. Jizuke, now starter for EG. Like, he's the person that's going to be the EG mid laner. Unsure about the top lane situation. Impact or Huni, they're still deciding. Lost, starter for TSM, Doublelift retiring. Those are, like, the big ones. I think that's everything. Do you have any info about top and support? There's still a potential chance that they go through with Palette for TSM, but Lost is going to be the AD carry, most likely. So why wouldn't TSM just get Impact? Big contract. Yeah, it's just a big contract. And then I think that generally speaking, they have like an idea behind what they want from a top laner. Like if you have a player that's really stable like PoE, a lot of times you would want a more like carry oriented top laner, or you're just going to end up being like TL version 2. BB wasn't good enough. It's not that BB wasn't good enough. It's because it's what I explained before, right? It's the way that they were trying to structure their roster. They needed the import slots. BB is just an import, and if they want to bring in like potentially Sword Art, and they also need to import mid because they wanted PoE. Bjergsen's leaving. There isn't many good domestic mid laners. Like you essentially have to import mid if you want a chance of winning. Like you look at any of the teams that are going to potentially win the season, right? Right now it's going to be C9 or TL. Perks, Jensen. Obviously, Jensen not an import anymore. I mean, he's just one of the people that was imported so long ago that now he has residency, but NA mid laners are not going to win you a championship within North America, so that's how it is. From your sources, what do you think is the current probability for TSM to sign Sword Art? I've heard like the Sword Art thing is just dead. Now, if the Sword Art deal somehow ends up going through, then there's a chance a Doublelift plays. This is under the perception that deal has went out. Did BB already go? Yeah, BB is already officially off TSM. BB is going to be on Schalke, which is like confirmed by my sources that he's going to be on Schalke. Thoughts on Doublelift's attitude? Seems kind of egotistical. Well, I think it's just kind of like, I think it's just kind of realistic, honestly. Like, I don't think that Doublelift's a good enough player right now to carry like a team that doesn't have good pieces and just win a championship, right? Like, I would say that there's players on C9 and TL that are more able to do that at this point in his career. I think that realistically, if the lineup ended up being something like Huni, Palette, Spica, Power of Evil, Doublelift, like I don't think that team's going to win a championship. Like, and giving another full season to not win a championship, I think is just too detrimental at this point in his career. Like, there's no point. You're better off retiring than like grinding a full year for a mediocre finish and potentially just to like devalue your own legacy.